right, summer movie catch up. Not catch up, catch up. We are going to be talking about all the movies that I should have done reviews for, but I ran out of time. So we're going to be talking about the other Fear Street movies. We're going to be talking about Old. We're going to talk about The Empty Man. We're going to talk about a documentary. We're going to talk about all sorts of shit. Nick Cage and a pig.
One way or another, you're gonna die tonight.
The devil has come to feast on our misdeeds.
The empty man, the empty man, the empty man, the empty man.
This wasn't Woodstock 69.
Who has my pig?
Hey everybody, Lindsay here, and welcome to my review for a whole bunch of shit. Whole bunch of shit. I will put time codes in the description for each of the little segments. Some I talked about longer than others just because I didn't have that really that much to say about them. But I just wanted to do a quick recap of what I've watched during and since my vacation and let you all know what I thought about it. If you've seen any of these, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I would love to hear what you thought. And if you take any of my recommendations, please let me know and let me know what you thought of them. First, we're gonna get these two films out of the way because I just want to be done with them. I was going to do reviews on them, but I was on vacation when they came out and I didn't want to record reviews in my Airbnb. So I'm doing it now. Now. Yes, I'm talking about the two Fear Street movies that I didn't review. I did the first one. I wasn't very positive on it. I had higher hopes for the other two, but I'm not gonna be so negative this time. I'm gonna try my best. There's just a few things that I want to say about each film, and then I'll talk about the series overall, and then we're gonna be done with it. And then I'm not gonna talk about it anymore because I don't care. Anyways, okay, second movie, Fear Street 1978. I love the time period. I love the whole camp thing. It's very reminiscent of a lot of 80s camp slasher movies like Friday the 13th, Sleepaway Camp, shit like that. Very cool. Love the setting. They did the music thing again in this movie where we're just hit with song after song after song after song after song. It wasn't as blatant in this movie, but it still got on my nerves a little bit. But like I said, it wasn't as bad as it was in the first one. The characters. There were a few characters that I thought were interesting. I really liked the sister relationship that they had going on. There was turmoil and there was reason behind the way that they were acting towards each other. I understood why they were angry. So that dynamic and relationship I could get behind. There was a lot of convoluted shit going on as far as when they discover everything underneath and then all of a sudden they're under the outhouse and all this stuff, and it just didn't leave a very lasting impression upon me, really. So I don't really have a lot to say about it. It felt more in its time place than the first movie, but it still wasn't 100% successful on giving you the feel and vibe of that time outside of shoving a bunch of songs down your throat. So that's all I've got to say about that one. The third one. Now, they had the main character jump into the body of Sarah Fear, which I didn't mind. Her relationship with the girlfriend character in the 1666 time period was way more believable and dynamic and engaging than the two girls' relationship in the 90s movie. I could understand their motivations and everything. So I was 100% behind that relationship. It made sense to me. A lot more than the first movie. There was like little things that stuck out and irritated me about each movie. I talked about the first one already. The second one, some of the secondary characters and some of the shit that they said didn't really make sense to me. There's a character in the second movie, 1978, that says shagadelic.
Yeah, baby.
Shagadelic. Then in the third one, why the fuck is the hanging tree in the mall? Why'd they keep the tree? Is it just because of their reverence for this witch? I thought they hated her and that nobody else really believes in the legend except for some kids. And even then they're just like, yeah, that's not real. It's just a ghost story. Why is the hanging tree in the mall? Did they transplant it there? They build around it. I did not understand that at all. Why they would why the tree would be left and they'd build the mall around it. I don't know. And none of them had a kill that topped the kill from the first movie, the cake slicer. Nothing topped that kill. That kill was fucking amazing. But anyway, overall thoughts on the trilogy. I kind of came to this realization before I even watched the second and the third one. And that realization is these movies just aren't for me. They're not for me. And that's fine. If you watched them and you enjoyed them and they were for you, that's great. They just didn't do it for me. And it's okay. Alright, next we're going to talk about M. Night Shyamalan's Old.
You have wrinkles.
There's something wrong with this beach.
This was another movie that came out while I was on vacation, and I finally went and saw it this past week. I was very excited for it. I have a soft spot in my heart for M. Night Shyamalan because I think I kind of understand what he's doing. And I think people keep trying to put him in that box back from when he made Sixth Sense and all that stuff. And it's like, he's not that filmmaker. He's not that filmmaker that you want him to be or think he should be. I don't know why he ever agreed to do some big budget thing like Airbender, because this stuff is his bread and butter. This is what he does well. These genre movies. And that's exactly what there are. They're genre films. Like all this B-movie trash that I like to watch and you like to watch. That's what he's making. That's what he's making with these films. With stuff like The Happening and Split and now Old. All these movies that he's made since he had his downfall after Airbender. And even before that, these are his versions of genre B-movies. And I think he does them pretty well. I mean, like The Happening was an eco-horror. That's exactly what that movie is. Go back to the 70s films about the environment that had a horror slant or twist to them. That is what The Happening is. And it's great. It's completely awful, but it's great. He knew what he was doing when he made that movie.
What? No.
And he knows what he's doing when he's making these other movies, like Old. It's just, here's this fucking wackadoodle premise, and I've got tons of money to make it. And that's what he does. And I think we should embrace that for what it is. It's just schlock, candy, insanity. And I enjoyed it for what that is. And that's all I have to say about Old. But I would love for him to take on some other genres, because I mean he's stepped his foot in pretty much all of them. I would love to see him try like a romantic comedy. I would love to see him try like a hard-boiled detective story, things like that, because I think he could bring a new perspective and new twist on all these different genres, and I think it'd be very interesting. So that's old.
Wow.
Next, we're going to talk about The Empty Man. I just watched The Empty Man last night. I'm still trying to figure out quite a bit about it. It was not what I was expecting because the way that they marketed it made it look like The Bye-Bye Man or Slender Man or Wish Upon or some stupid bullshit like that. That's how they presented this to us, and then they wonder why it didn't do well. It's like, because you made it look fucking stupid.
We gotta try it.
Try what?
Calling the empty man.
And it's not stupid. It's very layered and creepy. It has tons and tons of atmosphere. It's surreal in spots. You never quite know exactly what's real, what's fake, what's actually going on. It's hard to piece together. It needs multiple watches, I think, to fully understand what's going on. But it's not just a boogeyman story. There's a lot going on in this movie with secret societies and cults and manifestations, and it's one that you need to see. And if you've seen it, or if you go watch it after seeing my video, tell me what you think, because I think it's on one of the streaming services right now. I think it's HBO Max, maybe, or Netflix. I don't know. It's on one of them. Go find it, watch it, let me know what you think, because there's a lot to dissect in there. It's not your run-of-the-mill boogeyman thing. There's a lot more to it. So I highly recommend The Empty Man. Go watch it. Don't watch any of the stupid previews because they're dumb and they marketed this movie all wrong. Just go watch the movie.
The empty man, 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 the empty man.
Now we're going to talk about a film that I did see while I was on vacation, because we went to Austin and I wanted to go to one of the Alamo draft houses there, and so we did, and I saw the Nicolas Cage movie Pig. I really liked Pig. It was simultaneously everything I was expecting and nothing of what I was expecting, because the way that they marketed it made it look like John Wick with a pig. And in some ways it very much was that, but it was also the antithesis of that. Which might be hard to understand, but I'll try my best to explain it. Because in John Wick, it's really just the mechanisms that are used to seek out and not exact revenge, but just find resolution, if that makes sense. Because in John Wick, he is out for blood, revenge. You fucking killed my dog, and the dog was not just a dog, it was a symbol and this whole thing, and you destroyed that, so I am going to murder you and any person that gets in my way. John Wick. Awesome movie. Love it. Pig. You have stolen my pig that was my distraction from the world, that helped me stay in this bubble. So you have burst my bubble, and I'm really pissed off that you burst my bubble that is now making me face things. So I'm going to use my weapons, which are food and cooking and appreciation of ingredients and the process of preparing food for someone else. I'm going to use that as a weapon to get my resolution, to find out where my pig is, to find out what happened, to appeal to a deeper sense inside of you with this food, to help you understand what I'm going through and why you should give me back my pig. It's very sweet and very dialed back for Nick Cage, especially some of the stuff he's done recently. It's very dialed back. I think he yells maybe once or twice. That's it. But he actually doesn't talk a lot. It's a very subdued performance, but it's very powerful. And the movie's gorgeous to look at. The cinematography is very well done. It's paced well. It's not that long of a movie. It's like I said, it's a very sweet movie. It's very heartfelt, very bleak, and helpless at times. But also it leaves you with a sense of hope and a hope for the future. I think I explained that the best I could. Pig is being released in more theaters now. One of my local theaters is freaking playing it, which shocked the hell out of me. So you don't have to go to Austin to see Pig. But once it comes out on streaming, or if it's playing at a theater near you, I highly recommend it. It's a great Nick Cage performance, but it's not a Nick Cage performance, if you know what I mean. But it's much worth the watch. That's my review for Pig. Now I'm going to talk briefly about the new documentary series on HBO called Music Box. They just released their first episode all about the 1999 Woodstock.
Woodstock, baby.
Woo! That brings back some memories. Not my personal memories of Woodstock, just my personal memories of when it happened and watching it just disintegrate on television. Because I was like 17 at the time, 16, 17, I can't remember, whatever. And the feeling that I was getting personally and from people I knew and even some news outlets was that this was gonna be a disaster even before it started. Everyone was like, this is a bad idea, from what I remember. But just watching the little snippets that would come up on MTV, and I'm just like, holy shit, I cannot believe that this is actually going on. Because I mean, they had live footage of like the fires going on and just people passing out and ambulances driving away, and it was just complete insanity. But the documentary takes you step by step through the planning process, and the founders who did the original 1969 Woodstock, and then they did the 1994, and then the 1999, which was the last Woodstock, and the differences between each festival and possible reasons why the 1999 one just went completely off the rails. And also shattering this shatter the romanticizing of the original festival. That it wasn't completely the peace, love, and harmony for the weekend. That yes, some bad things happened. It was not perfect. It's not the idyllic thing that we're told it was. It wasn't, the 1999 festival, but things did go wrong. People did get hurt. And it also talks a lot about what that original ceremony meant to the people who were there in that generation, and what purpose there was behind that festival, and that the 1999 one didn't really have a purpose besides making money. And so it was kind of doomed from the start. But the series is on HBO Max. It's a very engaging documentary. It's very interesting. I mean, they have interviews with all the acts and people that went there, some of the security people, MTV people, the founders, and you get both sides of the story, so you're really able to kind of make your own decision as to why it descended into chaos. But it's just fascinating to try and pick apart and say, oh, well, did this contribute? Did that contribute? Was it all this together? Was it a perfect storm of people and music and heat and capitalism and late 90s angst and just Y2K, everything that was going on in the late 90s came together. This was the result of it. So it's very interesting. I highly recommend that.
How could this have happened? but how could it not?
Well, that is going to do it for the stuff that I have seen that I have not been able to make videos about. So we went through the rest of the Fear Street saga. We talked about Old. We talked about The Empty Man. We talked about Pig. We talked about Woodstock 99. Whew, it's a lot.
It's a map.
Oh no.
Calling the empty man.
Who has my tag?
They had the crowd going insane.
Well, that's going to do it for this summer movie catch-up. So until next time, this is Lindsay signing off. I'll check you later.